Good morning and welcome everyone to the Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching the opening bell and I'm your host Nikki Mirchandani. Well, Indian equity markets are poised for a positive start after a week of consolidation out there. If you talk about the SGX Nifty, it's indicating a green start for Dalal Street for Nifty, somewhat moving in the range around 18,400 to 18,700 odd levels. Wall Street at this point of time has ended higher on higher jobs data. Debt default too has been averted. Talk about Nasdaq, that's posted the best weekly winning streak since Jan 2020. Solid US job data, right? May job additions have been at 3.39 lakhs versus 1.9 lakh that was expected from the markets out there. Asian markets at this point of time, they've extended the global rally on optimism of around pause in the entire rate hikes coming in. FIIs at this point of time have sold shares worth around 658 odd crore on June 2nd. And if we talk about DIIs, they have actually bought shares worth around 581 crore on June 2nd. That's a bit of provisional data out there, but a bit of interesting take on the FPI data and the FPI investments. It's the one which has been reported by PTI, but it's worth a mention out there. Now, FPI investment in May, they've hit the highest level in 9 months. In fact, the FPIs have invested around 6,490 crore in just 2 trading sessions of June until now. Overall, for the month of April, FPI invested around 11,630 crore and they invested in 7,936 crore in March. Even if you just look at the March figure, that's where the upswing has started overall for FPI, and the March investment was essentially driven in by the bulk investment in Adani Group of companies by US-based GQG partners out there. So that is a bit of interesting take coming in for the FPI data, overall the trade setup, which right now looks to be a little positive coming in for the markets right now. We're being joined to discuss the stocks and strategies with Prashant Sawant, the founder, Catalyst Wealth out there. Good morning there. How have you been doing?
Hi, good morning and welcome back from your vacation. I think things are fine and the market is also looking good. Huge gap up to start with, so looks like a good week.
Yeah, it looks like a strong footing after a week of consolidation. And keeping that, thank you so much for that. But I'll just ask you what the strategy is that you suggest to our viewers right now and the call positions, whether you'll expect them to go long, because it's a week where it's marked by RBI policy, GDP, a lot of macroeconomic data flowing in after a week of consolidation. So your call on that right now.
So I think with regards to the index, if we look at Nifty, all the levels will be in June futures. I think a major support happens to be at 18,550 positionally. And unless and until we don't close below it, I think we can rally very well to the resistance levels of somewhere around 18,800, 18,840. I think that happens to be a major hurdle. Now, one point I would like to make here is we have those emotional connects to round numbers like 19,000 new highs. But the logical way for any investor or a trader would be always let go those last 100 points and take an exit when the entire market is in an euphoria. If the breakout sustains about 19,000, you always get an opportunity to enter again, say 100 points higher, 19,100, but with conviction. But at this level, at least on the index front, I would say if we rally somewhere in futures to 18,900, it is a very good level to take your profit. So sit on them and wait for the next opportunity. With regards to Bank Nifty, I think the rally might pick up steam from here. And 43,850 in June futures happens to be a good support, whereas 44,550 is a resistance. If we close above 44,550, I think it opens up another 500 points that we may rally to 45,000. So one bank which has been lagging in this rally and not participated is HDFC Bank. I'm looking forward to participation from HDFC Bank, and on similar fronts, I'm looking forward to participation from the big one in the market, Reliance, on the Nifty side. So let's see how the week goes, but definitely as long as the lower supports which I mentioned are holding, we can definitely look at a good rally, at least sector specific and stock specific.
Sure, Prashant. Just wanted to understand from you two points here for our viewers. A, if it's a gap up opening, would you want the viewers to or the traders to chase that and go long on the positions, or you think they should simply just cash in their profits after a while, after an hour of looking at the direction of the markets and then probably taking the cash off the table?
So that's a very good question, I think, and that would be a real practical way to approach today. It's 4 minutes to the open, and the best way to approach this gap up market is if you're having positions, just wait for the first 5 minutes, and whatever low is formed in the first 5 minutes, 20, 30 points in Nifty and 40, 15 points in Bank Nifty, keep your stop losses below that. That means you are logically respecting the price, the market, and you're letting the market do its job. In case it reverses, you're booking your profit at a very good level. And if it doesn't reverse, then I think you'll be able to trail your profit. But one word of caution, definitely, do not ever chase any gap ups. At some point of time, the market settles down, it comes to your area, and at the same time, there will be a lot of stocks and opportunities where you can even participate in this gap up and you can start your trade in those specific stocks from here as well.
All right, so the suggestion coming in is don't chase the gap up just as yet. And probably market will again give you a proper direction if the euphoria is expected to continue, the bull run is expected to continue. But for Bank Nifty specifically, do you expect underperformance to creep in? Because, of course, it's an RBI monetary policy week, though we're expecting RBI to pause out there. But your assessment, do you expect the traders to be on the sidelines for Bank Nifty right now? Do you see an underperformance coming in for that?
So I think typically what happens is a day before the policy, the index is a little nervous and it does not perform much, it kind of consolidates. But I think today, if you look at the futures, the level which I mentioned, somewhere around 44,500, if you get that, definitely start trailing your positions with as near as 44,350, 380, just 100, 120 points below the price. So that if there's a reversal, you are booking out very near to the top and then hold on, let the policy come out, let the direction be decided. I think the next set of move, if we sustain above 44,600 in futures and we close, we can straight see another 400-500 points, as I said, and we can target 45,000 in the week itself. But for that, let the event settle down. You will always get a better entry and a better opportunity.
All right. Also, one stock recommendation which you think can be a profitable bet for our viewers just before the market opens.
So I think there are two stocks I'm already tracking. And one sector that I'm tracking, which was underperforming, but it is picking up now. One of them is Hindalco, the metal sector. So it's currently it closed around 420. I think one can get in with stop losses around 410 on closing basis and hold for targets around 440, 445. I think that really looks good. So we can definitely participate here. The move is just starting, so you can definitely add up here.
All right. So Hindalco is the bet coming in from Prashant. But we're going to be quickly addressing the stocks in news, bunch of them actually, which need to be on your list. SBI Life Insurance, IRDA has identified SBI Life as the acquirer insurer for the business of Sahara India Life Insurance Company. It's done to protect the interests of the policy holders. Now, SBI Life will take over the policy liabilities of around 2 lakhs policies. What Morgan Stanley has to say that the company it's maintained the overweight rating overall on SBI Life, and the target price of around 1,650. The stock is trading around that 1,200 odd levels. It says that the transfer of policy holder related assets and liabilities, the company has clarified it's not a merger, but just a mere transfer of the policy holder related assets and liabilities. This should be around less than 0.5% of the balance sheet of the company. Specialty restaurants out there, a bit of negative. Promoter has been selling in the stake to an extent of 1% odd. So do keep an eye out on this one as well. But we're going to be addressing in the market opening for you right now. After a week of consolidation that we've seen, finally we're seeing markets actually extending the global rally out there. 18,600 mark. That's the one which is being scaled by Nifty 50 right now, with gains of around 0.5% out there. So clearly the traction has been building in line with what we were anticipating. And Prashant's advice on this one is don't chase the market gap up opening right now. Nifty, Bank Nifty, look at that. It's also participating into the rally right now with gains of around 0.5% out there. 44,115 mark. Clearly about that, the euphoria is building in even for mid-cap index right now, with gains of around 0.5% out there. Small cap has been acting no different. Actually, let's just say there is an outperformance coming in from small cap index with gains of around 0.75% as compared to the larger counterparts. Talk about the sectoral indices that we have overall on the list. Well, 0.5% coming in for the IT names. We were expecting some amount of outperformance keep creeping in for IT index overall, and remains to be seen if mid-cap IT These are the counters which specifically do well. They've reported good set of numbers. Well, talk about metal. That also has been doing well. Do remember, Prashant has suggested Hindalco as the top bet for the day within the basket. So all the viewers out there who are looking for a trading opportunity, Hindalco is the one for you. Pharma index, well, we're seeing gains coming in for that basket as well. Gains of around 4% for pharma. FMCG too has been holding up for you. As most of the sectoral indices actually at this point of time seem to be having a positive undertone coming in. Euphoria is clearly taking over the markets, and the markets have been participating into the global rally. Realty index too, consumption basket too. The story right now, GDP numbers are expected to come in. RBI monetary policy within this week, well, expect some positive amount of momentum, but market will look in for RBI direction for further cues coming in. Advance and declines at this point of time, 19 advances versus 29 declines coming in for the market. Look at the nifty gainers right now. Hindalco, that's shining bright. Wipro, Power Grid. Now do remember, for Wipro, there's a record date which has been fixed for the buyback, which has already been approved on April 27th. HCL Tech, M&M, and ICICI Bank. These are some of the top gainers that we have on our list right now. In terms of other gainers that we have, Adani Enterprises, Bajaj Fin, and Hero MotoCorp. These are some of the other top gainers. Top losers, Eicher Motors, BPCL, Nestle India. These are some of the top losers that we have on our list right now. And in terms of the other losers that we have on the screen, Asian Paints, TV's Lab, and Tech Mahindra. These are some of the other top losers. But Wipro is the one clearly that is holding up at this point of time, and Hindalco, Prashant's bet probably has come through, but we need to go and check with him if the kind of opening that we've seen for Hindalco, whether the recommendation, would you still hold on to that? But Prashant, come in on this one. Hindalco is already shining in bright before you kind of pick that up as the top recommendation for the day. You see further steam to the rally coming in for this one?
So definitely, Nikki, I think why metal sector caught my attention last week was there was a lot of negativity discussed about it. That's where I looked at indications on the chart for a bottom foundation formation. And I think now the major level in spot happens to be 430. If we close above 430 today, I think I might recommend to add more positions, raise the stop loss to 420. Always keep a 10-point risk, not more than that. And then you can hold for targets around 450 as well. So today on closing basis, 430 happens to be a major level. Keep an eye over there.
What about IT stocks? IT index is also, probably outperforming out there. Bank Nifty too has participated. Shah, you said that you'd like to watch out for HDFC Bank amidst others because, there's a bit of underperformance coming in from HDFC Bank. But within IT basket, what do you like?
I think within the IT basket, one stock which definitely has caught my attention has been Birlasoft. So you can keep an eye there. I think it looks at a decent level, and currently it's around 350. It can move to 360, 365 levels. So you can maintain a stop loss around 344 and hold for those levels. As long as the frontliners are concerned, I think they're at a resistance level, whether it is Infosys or TCS. And I think in this pack, I think one stock which might do well has been Tech Mahindra. It is currently around 1120. So if it crosses 1130, I think there can be a momentum here. So you can look out for 1130 cross. But more than the frontliners, I think it is the mid caps which are doing really well. So I think you can focus over there, whether it is Coforge or Persistent or, as I said, Birlasoft.
All right. So Birlasoft is probably one of the counter that you need to keep an eye out on. But let's actually address in the other stocks out there. Prashant, we're going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to us this morning. All right, I'm going to be addressing a bunch of other stocks. Wonderla Holidays. This is one where Tamil Nadu government has granted a waiver of the local body tax of around 10% for the Chennai project. The waiver is for 10 years and it's from the time of commencement of the commercial operations. So that's a positive coming in for Wonderla Holidays. Look at the stock right now. It's trading with gains of around 2.5%. So clearly, that's a bit of positive coming in for Wonderla Holidays. Morgan Stanley on OMCs. That's another one that I wanted to touch base. Now, the Indian fuel basket is currently priced at around $110 dollar per barrel. Now, OMCs, according to the brokerage, should recover more than the pre-Ukraine war book value over the next 2 months. That's in terms of the valuation. It said that the multiple still imply below mid-cycle returns despite significant earning headwinds. What they like from the space? IOCL and BPCL. These are the ones which are preferred bet right now. At this point of time, both of these stocks aren't reacting too much, but expect some traction to build in gradually from the long-term perspective. It's please as per the brokerage, given the kind of valuation that they're commanding at this point of time. In other developments, Zydus Lifespciences, where US FDA has issued zero observation to the company's animal health drug manufacturing facility in Ahmedabad. That's the one. And Wipro. Right, we already addressed that, but a little bit of development that I wanted to put in perspective before you kind of understand why there was this optimism seen. Now, the IT service company has set in June 16th as the record date for buyback. For Wipro, on April 27th, the board had already approved the buyback worth around 12,000 odd crore, and the buyback is expected to be around the price of 445 per share. Right now, the stock is quoting around 408 levels, and the expectation is to an extent of 445 per share. So that's the word coming in. But let's address the fundamental side of the story and bring in our guest, Gaurang Shah from Geojit Financial Services. Good morning out there.
Morning, Nikki. How are you? Thank you very much for inviting me in the show.
I'm doing well, Gaurang. I'm going to start off by asking you about your assessment now that we're almost past, the summer season. It's probably monsoon is hitting right at the door. I was actually, reading into the report today, and it was a channel check which was done by Investec on cement stocks, where they expect the prices to further reduce, or they have reduced by 4 to 5 rupees on pan-India basis for most of the cement companies out there. Your assessment, and what do you make out of it?
Well, so, historically speaking, Nikki, there is a general view or consensus that during this time of the year, that is during monsoon, the infrastructure creation or construction related activities comes to a standstill, or it virtually goes in a cold storage. We at Geojit are of a different opinion, and if you actually go and see the data for the last 2 years during this time of the year, that is monsoon, then year after year the numbers have been going up, and it has been supporting because of the demand. And I've been traveling length and breadth of the country, and I don't see any kind of a break or a interval, so-called interval, because of seasonality issue. And nowadays, with the kind of innovative product that most of the cement manufacturing companies have, you don't have to really bother much about the monsoon season for construction activity to go on a slow space or slow down, whatever be it. As far as your question regarding the pricing is concerned, well, this particular sector was under pressure because of one too many issues, and one of them was, of course, the input cost going up, and because of that, the operating margins coming down. But input costs have come down. Operational efficiencies has led to a decent number as far as profit margins are concerned. So we remain extremely positive, and not to forget, you are in an election year as far as states are concerned. Next year, you're going to see a bigger election. So I think state governments as well as the government in the center would want to expedite it and give a fast track approval for some of these projects going forward from here on. So I'm not really, overly concerned, Nikki, in terms of the construction activity slowing down or this sector underperforming.
Gaurang, what do you like from the space, within the space for cement basket?
So we have, in total, we have about 8 investment ideas, 4 from the large cap, 4 from the mid cap. Large cap names are Ultratech, ACC, Ambuja, and Grasim. In the mid cap universe, we like Shree Cement, Dalmia Bharat, Ramco Cement, and JK Lakshmi Cement. And I'm quite positive about not only this year or the year after, but I think this particular sector is going to be contributing in a consistent way. And why I say this, Nikki, because if you have to go towards that 6.5, 7%, 7.5 and 8%, and maybe beyond that, I'm talking about GDP growth rate, then the government at the state level and center has to modernize the existing infrastructure and expand it. And along with that, we need to create modern infrastructure. And for that, cement is metal is are the two important commodities, because without these two commodities, you can't really create a durable and a long-lasting infrastructure.
Point well taken. RBI monetary policy, it's in this week. And of course, we are expecting banking stocks to remain in focus. From a technical point of view, Prashant was just having a conversation earlier, Prashant Sawant. He was telling us that HDFC is, kind of underperformed in the entire until now. And HDFC Bank is somewhere where he expects probably the momentum to build in. Overall, your view on the banking space in light of the monetary policy which is expected to take place in this week and the outcome thereby, and within the space, what do you like?
So, Nikki, we've been positive on the entire financial space, that is banking and NBFC, for a pretty long period of time, especially over the last year and a half. We've been extremely positive. And we have, in fact, put out a view that one of the outperforming sectors is going to be banking and finance. Though some in the street believe that the banking and finance sector is overvalued, we are of a different opinion. I think it's fairly valued, and in some cases it is undervalued. In terms of the RBI credit policy meet, well, I think if you have to go by the verbatim that the Honorable RBI Governor has been sharing, most probably this time around also there's going to be a status quo. And I say this because, you have monsoon virtually knocking on your doorstep, and there are certain feelers that it might be below normal or below long-term averages. So I think RBI might, and the Monetary Policy Committee might just want to wait out for a while and see how the monsoons pan out and whether there is any deficit, and because of that, there is inflationary pressures, etc. So I think it's going to be status quo. The statement is going to be accommodative, and commentary as far as domestic as well as global economies are concerned is going to be cleanly watched and heard. Amongst the universe banking, well, we definitely, and we all know, private sector banks have outperformed rather government banks very smartly, but we believe it's time to look at government banks also, PSU banks. So in PSU banks, we like State Bank of India, Canara Bank, and Bank of Baroda. And in private banks, the entire banking names in the which is associated with the private sector: HDFC, Axis, ICICI, Kotak, IndusInd Bank, Federal Bank, IDFC First Bank, City Union Bank. These are some of the names that we are extremely positive. And I think the credit demand, Nikki, is going to stay afloat for a long period of time. And if we and you, if you and me and all of us are thinking about India becoming the next $1 trillion economy, then one of the most important sectors that needs to contribute is banking and finance.
All right, that's some bullish view coming in on that one. But we're speaking about the rate sensitive story, and let's actually now shift the focus to more on the defense side, because we spoke about monsoons. This quarter barely, we saw a good amount of participation coming in from the FMCG basket in terms of the earnings, F&B segment specifically. But overall, if you look at the FMCG basket, ITC has been the outperformer out there. With monsoon being below expectation as we're anticipating, as we're reading in, do you think that will have, again, a bearing on the rural recovery demand, and thereby the FMCG basket again will take a hit? What's your assessment on this one?
Well, so first of all, let's hope that the rain gods are kind enough for the 4th or the 5th consecutive year, Nikki, because it's a very important season of the year as far as the Indian subcontinents are concerned. And more importantly, when you have more than 60% of your population dependent on agri activities, I think it's prudent to expect rain gods to be kind enough. And even if it is a small deficit, then the reports that I've gone through, Nikki, say that it's not going to be any serious impact. And more importantly, reach of monsoon is something that we need to possibly watch out for. I'm not saying that monsoon is needed only for larger cities or tier 2 or tier 3 cities. It is equally important in each and every part of the Indian subcontinent. But more importantly, I think if the spread reaches out to the areas where the dominance of agri activity is at a elevated level, then I don't think there is going to be any food-related inflationary pressures as far as inflation is concerned. And in that kind of a scenario, I think the demand from semi-urban and rural is going to play a very crucial role. It has been supportive for the FMCG companies, and I think it will continue to do that. And here again, like the cement companies, Nikki, This FMCG sector also suffered from elevated input costs, raw material prices, which led to a squeeze in margins. But that has again become a thing of the past. So I expect FMCG sector to do well. ITC has in fact reached the first targets that we had set aside. We remain positive on this stock at 200 and sub 200 when the entire world was underweight. It has almost doubled from those levels. Numbers excite us in terms of the fourth quarter earnings that we saw. And possibly you should see this stock heading towards 475, 485. And if the earnings deliver, then it can go beyond 500. But we'll have to wait and watch for that.
All right, so that's the word coming in on the entire FMCG basket. ITC has hit the first level target, but when it comes to the monsoon, it's probably failed to keep up with its date with Kerala. IMD suggests that it's probably at a delay for at least 4 more days before it hits Kerala right now. But I think we will just leave it at that. And Gaurang, thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to us this morning.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Right, pleasure is all ours, as I always say. But with this, it's a wrap. And goodbye from the entire team who puts this piece together. Thank you so much for watching, and please do post your feedback for us in the comment section below. Follow us on the link at the bottom of your screen. And for rest of the updates, stay tuned into moneycontrol.com and Moneycontrol app.